Artifact 7 shows evidence for Standard 3.2, ISTE Criterion 9, which is to promote student behaviors that encourage curiosity as they critically identify and examine online resources. This lesson was part of the 7th grade math unit on statistical inferences. In this unit, I introduced the concepts of samples, population, sampling techniques, biases, and validity. This lesson covered the 7th grade AKS that requires students to analyze sampling methods and conclude that random sampling supports valid inferences, and they recognize the potential limitations and scope of the sample to the population. On day 1, students were introduced to important vocabulary words with a slide presentation and interactive notes. They played a GimKit game that focused on identifying bias to make correct inferences. This is a screenshot of the kit that I made. On day 2, I started class by asking students to stand at the back of the room. I projected the pink slide while students were transitioning, then I moved to a series of real-world scenarios that required them to analyze for bias. Based on their assessment of the scenarios, students walked to either the biased or unbiased corner of the room. Here is one scenario example. After the whole group activity, students then used their personal Chromebooks to work on the assignment, which was to find 3 online sources, such as a blog, a website, or an article about McDonald's environmental impact. Students identified biases in the resources and explained how they affected the validity of the source. Students used a Google form template previously assigned in Google Classroom. They also had a rubric to provide guidance for presenting their findings. This is an image of one of my students searching online resources. To enforce these concepts throughout the unit and through the end of the school year, many lessons were presented by all 7th grade teachers during advisement time, which is 30 minutes set aside at the end of homeroom on Mondays and Fridays. One lesson was titled Crack the CRAP Code for Online Research. Students were taught how to use the CRAP test. The second lesson was titled Click Wise, Don't Be Fooled, Lateral Reading. Students were taught how to apply lateral reading when analyzing resources, which involves investigating multiple sources. In both these lessons, teachers modeled how they personally used these methods for both work and personal research. Since many students experience math anxiety, I thought that having other content teachers deliver the mini lessons in homeroom might possibly increase student engagement and result in better outcomes. 7th grade student scores on the statistics unit were impressive. The computer science teacher reported that students had a strong foundation for her lessons that focused on examining criteria for relevant, accurate, reliable, and unbiased information.